Welcome to the Hot Topics podcast. I'm your host, Psycho4081, and I am joined by my two lovely hosts, the Lady Lamb Chop.
Good evening.
And the notorious Felonious Feather.
Nobody's notorious.
Now let's get it started. Welcome, everyone. How you ladies doing today?
Doing pretty good.
Sweltering outside?
Ooh, yes.
We're good. Besides the weather,
Oh, besides the weather is good?
we are good. Besides the weather,
We're
Yeah.
good. Besides the weather. Okay, I'm
not
sorry.
my favorite.
I left out this morning to get some blood work done, and the lab opens at 7:30. And got in my car, and it was hot at 7:30 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
It is just not right.
Wait a minute.
Well, we better start practicing for health.
Won't you wait a minute. You said this is not your. Aren't you from Nigeria?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't care what
It's
nobody
like
say.
it's
This
so-
a different kind of heat.
I'm telling you because I don't remember it being this hot. So let me tell you what happened when I first got here.
You have more trees around being from the
When I
bush.
first got here,
you are ridiculous.
summer used to be my best weather because I couldn't handle the cold.
Right? Yeah.
So like
yeah.
3 years into it, and I hated summer.
This summer.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. When I first got here, I couldn't even I had to wear jacket in fall and all of that. I was so cold, so cold. I used to look forward to the summer.
Yeah.
So 3 years of being here, and I'm like, this is hell. It's like no, this cannot be real. Like this is like my worst weather ever. Like I don't remember it being this hot in Nigeria. I don't ever remember. It's like something different.
yes.
Like I've not experienced this kind of heat before, and it's gonna last until
It's gonna be
you
bad.
know, August, and it's crazy. And then it makes you like I've never experienced a weather where it makes me so black.
Is it the humidity?
I think so.
I think that's probably
It
the
makes
difference.
a big difference.
Yeah.
It
It's so
does.
humid. Like my car is hot. Like
yeah.
and in Nigeria, it's funny. In Nigeria, people actually walk on the streets and all of that.
Right.
But here, you don't even walk on the street. You're in your car, and you feel so hot. Like in the car, the AC, besides the AC blowing, my legs, my everything is so hot. Like
Well, out in California, San Diego was like that. San Diego was hot, but it was like that dry heat where you can
Like
walk
Vegas.
all over the place, and it was just you didn't break a sweat or anything like that. It was like the most perfect weather I've been in my life in San Diego.
if Maryland is like this, I wonder what
It's worse.
Texas.
Yeah, it's
looks
worse
like.
going down
I
south.
Oh, I
I'm
can't
telling
imagine.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the one time I went to Texas, it was like 100 and some. I'm like that state, that country, it's not for me. But I came from that. It's funny because I came from like a hot weather place,
Right.
and then I cannot handle it's not just me. And you have people that are just like straight up from Nigeria coming in here, and they're like, "Oh my God, this weather is crazy."
Yeah, it's most likely it has to be the humidity.
Yeah.
Yeah, because New Orleans,
Oh my God.
Houston, Florida.
I have never felt humidity like New Orleans.
New Orleans.
New Orleans. Never. I was just it's stuck in your throat. Like
Really?
it was so thick. It was so thick and so hot.
The worst for me was the Texas. Like when I went out, like it was like when you're cooking it gave me this feeling of deja vu. Like when you're cooking in your kitchen in Nigeria, like your cooking is like your kitchen is like this enclosed space. It's like a room, yeah, but then a little ventilation and stuff. And then imagine you're cooking with stove and it's so hot in there.
Right.
And that's how I felt when I went to Texas. Like,
Which part of Texas did you go to?
Dallas.
Dallas. Okay. Yeah. I
So
went to
like
Dallas.
stepping out was like it just hit me. I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. Like
But they say Houston is worse because
I've
that's
heard.
closer to the
The
water.
water.
Yeah.
oh my God. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
But Phoenix gets like it was nice. It gets just not that long ago. It was like 107, 114.
Yeah, they get triple digit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I
they
saw
get triple.
one joke that someone was saying that I think I sent it to you. I sent it to you like Texas is like, if you want to go to Texas, it's like you're practicing to be cremated.
Oh, creep.
That's terrible. People are a mess.
Like if you feel like, oh, you want to know what it feels like, just go practice in advance. Like go by going there. It's crazy. No. I can imagine.
And that's not even the hottest area we have in this country too. That's the crazy part.
Right.
You know.
Right.
They got what was it, Death Valley, which is I think the hottest place in the world. And they have the deserts of Arizona and in Vegas.
Yep.
You know.
Listen, I still hate winter enough that this is not bothering me.
You would take-
I hate winter with everything I am. I just hate
Really?
it. So, yeah.
But now I have grown to love winter. It's like, what's the worst that can happen? Just your jacket. And then, these days it's not as cold as it used to
it's
be.
really not.
Right, right.
It's really
So
not.
the
Which is
weather
alarming
really
to
cool.
me.
Yeah, which is
Very.
cool for
Yeah.
me. I'm
Very.
good with it right now.
Yeah.
Like
No.
when I first got here, it was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
what kind of weather is this? I'm like, am I practicing to be in the freezer?
Well, it's funny
Really
because
extreme.
there's some places that have such mild. And I looked it up. Hawaii is supposed to have some of the best weather because it never gets too cold and never gets too hot. They keep in that little green zone,
Right.
like 74 to 84.
Oh, that's probably delicious. Yeah.
I was like,
that's probably wonderful.
yeah, 74 to 84, and you have obviously ocean all around and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I was like, that
That's
might be the
probably
place to be.
good.
Yeah,
If you could afford it.
yeah.
No, I mean, this is, a global warming thing because not this Thanksgiving, but the Thanksgiving before, my son was smoking a turkey outside in shorts. And I remember Thanksgiving, you
was
had a
cold.
coat.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
you would wear a coat. And
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is, you could say it ain't global warming, but I'm sorry. We have evidence that it is.
So what's happening in the news? Anything interesting?
I'm so irritated at the Democrats right now.
Oh Lord.
I'm so irritated at them. I just, Republicans will stand by
They
their man
will.
no matter what he does.
Apparently,
He is a criminal. He's
sexual predator,
a sexual predator. He don't pay his bills.
crooked businessman.
Yes.
He's done it all.
He's done it all. An insurrectionist. And they are still supporting him. And, Biden has a couple of bad days, and we're like, oh, I think it's time for him to step down.
Yeah,
No.
that crazy me. That's the thing. They don't. They're their own worst enemy.
Yes.
Things could be handed to them on a silver platter, and it's like, no, we'll take the paper plates.
Right.
Right. I don't understand
Right.
that.
I'm very irritated with them, and I feel like y'all just let us get him across the finish line.
Yeah.
And if he wants to step down after he's president,
Right.
then that's all good. But right now, we need to get him in there.
So for those who don't know, they had the debate, which I thought it was not even necessary for most people. They got their minds made up pretty much, but
Right.
Trump got on there and just lied the entire
Pretty
time.
much.
The entire time. And Biden, his speech wasn't great and
Stumbled.
and he looked like he needed some help,
Yeah.
but he told the truth.
Facts.
But people, when you look at TV, they look at visual things.
Mm-hmm.
So and one funny part though, that was when he said
Funny.
they wanted Trump to respond with Biden and say, he's like, I don't know what he said.
Yeah, that did not
Yeah,
help.
that's crazy.
That did not
That's
help.
crazy. But
Still,
yeah,
you can't negate his whole career
Right.
based on that one.
and
debate.
his contrary to popular belief, his administration during his term, we are doing great.
Right.
Don't get it confused with inflation. That's it's a worldwide inflation. He done much to kind of bring that sort of in
try to
order,
bring it down.
but that's not on him. So, but everything else has been rocking, and part of inflation is when people have money to buy stuff,
Right.
they just don't have enough stuff to buy, so they got
Right.
to jack the prices up. So, but yeah, that was a crazy. So the problem came in where there's several Democrats that started talking about he should step aside,
down,
or
yeah.
they should nominate somebody else, or
Right.
and it's just poor.
Like who? Who are they gonna?
Yeah.
And look how late we are in the game.
That's
the
my
other thing.
point, yep.
Like we are too late in the game for this, and that they're not gonna elect a black woman.
Right.
They wouldn't even
So,
elect a white woman.
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad-
that's not gonna happen.
So one of the what he called Plan C was to have Obama run as the vice president.
Again?
Yeah. Now the problem with that said, well, you can't run as because but the Constitution said you can't run for president. So if something happens to the president,
Right.
and he's not being elected as president,
Right.
he's he just can't run again.
President. Right.
So that was one of the things that they were floating around, and I don't think that's going to happen.
Plan A. Let's get him
Yeah.
in there. Get your tails out and vote. Stick to Plan A, and if need be, you can step down after you get in there.
Yeah, get Trump's punk ass out of there.
I did not say that.
I did. Psycho 4081. I said it. Damn it.
The views of Psycho
with-
4081.
He said it with his full chest.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I don't know. I just don't know how you think it's okay to elect this man. If you passed him on the street, you would cross the street and tell your children, don't talk to him. Don't look at him. You would hurry up, get in the car, and lock the door.
And he has a long. What's funny though is like a lot of people on social media, they go way out of their way to deny what's clear, what's written. So, how do you know he's a racist? Well, he has court cases.
Right.
He has a history of it. He has employees has said, he has a sister who says, he has other celebrities who says, so it's kind of like, those people, you're not going to change it.
How about you getting sued because you won't rip to black people?
Bingo.
How about you put a whole 4-page ad out in the paper to kill some people who were innocent? Okay, we going.
Yeah.
What is your?
Well, and just for those that we did a podcast last Monday and we lost it accidentally, so I'm gonna bring up some things that
we had technical difficulties. It happens.
It happens. We're not placing blame on Felonious. We won't do that.
You
But
did not do that. You are so wrong.
I'm saying we won't blame her. But
You are
So,
so wrong.
I was mentioning the NBA salaries.
Right. We did say that.
So we had
That was my. Okay.
found it?
My
Okay.
brain started
clicked.
working again. Yes.
Jason Tatum, and this was I forgot what date this was, but he signed a 5-year contract extension worth $314 million. So you want to add that up? That's a big chunk of change. It's over 60. What is it? 63 million, something along those lines. 62 million.
I wonder, can you spend that amount of money a year?
Per year. So something interesting about that. So I read this too. I don't know how true it is, but he has an agreement with his mom that he can't spend any of that money.
Huh?
Yeah, he can't spend any of that money. So I don't know if she's trying to say, that's the agreement they made, not to spend that money, because you don't have to. You're not going to live off of $62 million a year.
Right,
You can live off of, be honest, $200,000 a year,
I was
or
going to
even
say,
him.
I'm living off.
Yeah, or a couple million.
It's a whole lot of people living off of way less.
Yeah,
than
so
that.
I guess she's trying to prevent him from doing like so many other NBA stars do. They get hundreds of millions of dollars and then end up broke.
If you get $63 million a year and you end up broke,
It happens.
$63 million a year.
Well, I don't know if anybody was getting 60, but someone like, I know Antoine Walker, he was worth a couple $100 million, and he ended up being broke.
Yeah, you're right. I guess it happens.
Yeah.
There's a lot of celebrities out there that end up losing their money.
Yeah. But interesting enough, the Boston Celtics paid him that much money, and they also that's a record, and they had that eclipsed the past record paid by the Boston Celtics on his teammate, and his teammate was getting $304 million. So, wow. Yeah. So now here's a kicker. Now I'm trying to fathom this. Dallas Mavericks Luka Doncic will be eligible to sign a 5-year extension worth a projected $346 million. So looking at that, let's see, 60 is that like 69 million? Can you imagine 69? So all those who go to the basketball games, now you know where your money's going to.
Right. That's why you're paying $12 for a hot dog.
Yes, yes, is exactly why. So, but I'm not gonna get in another man's pocket, but I would take it too.
Oh, absolutely would take it.
Take that. Oh, so speaking of which, take that.
No, not speaking of take.
We don't have any Diddy news.
Good.
I don't
That's
think
a good thing. That's a good thing.
What's the latest in any word?
No. I don't even follow. I try not to think about it. But I figured out my NBA thing. Remember I was saying earlier that I had a trending thing and I forgot it. and it came back when you said NBA. But I think I'll hold that for the discussion with the teacher because it's close to it's on
Really?
that line. Yeah.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Okay. So in other news, we have I don't know if we mentioned the Virginia couple.
The Virginia couple.
That adopted some black children.
No.
We didn't talk about that?
No.
Ooh.
I don't remember that.
Okay, so this is world news. Indictment alleges that this is from ABC News. Indictment alleges West Virginia couple used adopted black children as slaves. Yeah. So they the trial is going to be set for later this year, but they was arrested after some of their adopted children were found locked in a shed.
Oh my God.
At their West Virginia home, and the conditions was crazy. You know, imagine it back in the 1800s or 1700s. That's how they had these kids in. So they got 16 counts of civil rights violations, human trafficking, forced labor, gross child neglect, falsifying an application, seeking a public defender. They can go to the end. Yeah. All but one of the counts are felonies. Yeah. So that's going to be an interesting thing to follow.
How
September
were
9th.
they able to get it? Well, people get away with a lot of stuff with child abuse, and other people turn their head and act like they don't see it, or it gets reported and nobody does anything about it. If
I could recall, I think the neighbors dropped the dime on them.
Good.
It said the children had been deprived of adequate food and hygienic care. The room had no running water, no bathroom facilities. And it was one of the girls was like 9 years old. And she lived in it was a 6-year-old. Let's see who else. But yeah, it's crazy. This is 2024. I had to think about the year. It's 2024, and we're still dealing with that. So yeah, that's crazy. And then some other depressing news. They had the Hajj.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, we did talk about that.
We did talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And we didn't know the number, but it was over 1,300 people died because of the heat. So that's people. If you're going to go on a Hajj,
Oh my God.
And you know what it came back to? It was tours. They promised him certain things, and when he got through these tours, they didn't get the things that was promised. So like I don't know what the tours are involved, but I would imagine we're gonna supply you with water.
Yeah, that would be just a simple thing.
Yeah. So that was a tragic thing, and one of the couples were here in Maryland.
Right.
I think we would say
Bowie. They were from Bowie.
From Bowie. Right. So that was crazy. And then more shenanigans.
And more shenanigans.
Oklahoma immediately requires schools to teach the Bible. So I think it was more or less the Ten Commandments. If it's the same one,
the Ten Commandments were going to be publicly displayed.
That was in
the school.
That was in Louisiana.
Was that? Yeah.
Okay, so these are two different things.
Okay.
This says they require schools to teach the Bible. Strict compliance is expected. But we talked about before, it was one of the states, I'm not sure, but I believe it was Louisiana, where they required them to post the Ten Commandments in all schools.
Right.
So it sounded to me, like I said, I'm not knocking people's religion or anything like that, but to me it seems like there's a big push to take over, like to impose.
Right,
yeah,
right.
This is the country of separation of church and state.
Yes, and you have the freedom to do
whatever,
what
you're supposed to. Right.
So if that, and with the Supreme Court, you never know.
How can they do that? And then they're not against gay rights and stuff.
Right. Well, no, I could tell you what'll happen. They'll say, well, you have to post the Quran.
Right.
And then
it'll stop.
They'll
What about? They're right. The Quran, the Torah.
Right.
You have kids in schools with all different religions. Why does yours get picked?
And then you got the Satanists.
They're there.
Because the Satanists. Your people.
No, you did not say that. Yeah, it's kind of not fair.
We belong to the same group. So.
We dragging me into your stuff.
Whatever you are, yeah.
Now, on to local news.
And local news.
Baltimore teacher charged with rape and connected to a missing 12-year-old.
Wow.
So, if I can recall, now I gotta read this. I don't have to recall, but this is from Fox 45 News. Baltimore City school teacher was arrested in connection to a missing 12-year-old girl, according to Baltimore County Police. So apparently they lived in Baltimore County, but he was a teacher in the city. I think it was Mervo. Was it Mervo?
I'm not sure.
I believe it was Mervo. But either way, apparently he had a relationship with a 12-year-old that was ended up missing, and that's how I think somebody reported him for inappropriate behavior or something along those lines, and that's how all that came about.
Right.
You know, she was missing, and obviously, if you're in certain professions, that's going to be elevated above all. You're a police officer, a teacher, a doctor, a priest, or anything along those lines.
Get started on the priest, man.
But yeah, he's a 24-year-old kid.
Right.
He's not a kid. He's not a kid.
Oh wow.
He's not a kid.
He's a 24-year-old
young man.
Young man. So he hasn't been, and I say that because obviously he couldn't have been a teacher for long. So he had to be at least, I think, 21, 22.
Right.
So he's not, a long tenure teacher. So
I don't think that's the first time he did that.
Oh, I don't think so either. Well, you know what? I'm going to say we've got to start somewhere.
Right. But
and I think if he would have gotten
I bet you as a teenager. I don't think that's the first time he did that.
Hey, so any of you guys, if we have any pedophiles out there listening to this podcast, call in and let us know when it started for you.
Do not call in.
Yes, and tell us your name and address.
Stop it. Stop. You know what? I used to work with a psychiatrist who said that that is something that cannot be corrected.
Yeah, I went to a training on that too. But I think it's something that has to be. I don't say maintained, but
it's behavioral modification. Yeah. But he would say even if you because people say like castrate them or chemically castrate them, but you still have you may not still have urges, but something in your brain is going to tell you that's what you need to do, or that's what I like, and it still won't stop you from like maybe looking at child porn or things like that. You might not physically harm, but you will still have that connection in your brain.
I think we mentioned this before. I think the answer to that is, now we have technology. They can for those who are so the whole point is not to have victims, right?
Right.
So to take the victim part out of it, when they got these mechanical high whatever sex dolls or whatever, there you go. There's your robot. Take your robot and go about your creepy business. But other than that, it's always going to because people get traumatized.
Right.
Yeah.
It has always been there. So I'm
yeah,
not sure the robot is the answer, because at some point that's not going to be enough.
Well, but the robots they have now, it might be. And then technology grows, they got to
test it and trust it.
They got to look.
He knows. Is that what you say?
They got a little lamb chop doll somewhere on the shelf somewhere.
Stop it. You are special in every way.
The Smalley models.
No, he did not say the Smalley models.
He keeps sending me those kind of memes like, "Oh, your people mean like small people." Like, duh, I'm like 5'4", and you keep sending me stuff about
you're not 5'4".
People on that forfeit.
You're not 5'4".
I'm 5'4". No, you're not. You keep saying your people. See, is that how your people do? Is that how?
Oh, she get them too.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Come talk about your people thick. That was the last one. I was like, what is wrong with you? And it was a little person. I'm like, you get on my nerves.
They do though.
Okay, so anyway, staying on this topic, I remember what my brain fart came back, but Karl Malone?
Yes, I knew it.
Okay.
Yes.
So, apparently he had a relationship with a 13-year-old.
Yes.
And she had a baby.
Yes.
And he bailed?
Yeah.
From what? Okay.
Yeah, he was in college. He went to Louisiana State. He was in college, yeah.
And now he's saying that this is his child.
Yeah, so it came out a while ago, and then for all these years he's always denied it. And the child is actually a professional football player, plays for Buffalo, and that was a thing. So now he's retired, and he's calls himself making amends for it. I don't think. Well, here's my personal opinion on this one. you're a child molester.
Yes. Absolutely.
Regardless. And I think because of that, you should not be in the NBA Hall of Fame, and you should get the same punishment like the rest of the people will get. And no, you did not make amends for it because you still did what you did. You was a butthole most of the NBA time. Everybody says it. I'm not off the court. Off the court, you was a butthole, and you denied that man his whole entire youth.
Her too, not
her,
just
well,
him,
her too.
her
I'm saying,
too.
but by denying the child,
right?
Though, I'm saying,
right.
But so I don't.
So he didn't provide for the child in any kind of way.
No. So
through his whole career,
making
millions of dollars. Okay.
Yes. So if you think you get off the hook because you reconciled with your son by saying, "Oh yeah, you're my son," that's not good enough.
It's not. It is not. You should be charged with something. I don't know what the statute of limitations are for that kind of thing, but she was 13.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it, and I was looking at it on social media, and somebody said, and I had to get off because I was about to just lose my shit. Excuse me, put an explicit on the thing. But the person said, y'all mothers need to pay attention to what your children are wearing, what these girls are wearing. So I'm like, so now you are going to blame the victim and
shaming.
over sexualize her. But he knew. All you had to have was one conversation with this child, and you would know that they were not of age.
Right. They know.
Yeah,
he knew.
You
can't tell me he didn't know.
You can look at that face, but okay, maybe she did look a certain way. It didn't matter. You can have one conversation with her, ask her one question, and you know that she's not of age. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, what in the world? How do you just get away with that and say, oh yeah, he's mine, and that's it?
Well,
40 years later.
Since we're speaking about castration, that's how you can make amends. Get castrated. I'll say, okay, he turned out to be a great person. No thanks to you. And I'm speaking about Karl Malone, but
you're saying his son turned out to be.
His son turned out. Yeah, he's an NFL player, and
How about that's why he wants to make amends?
Yeah, but he still denied him even when he's not a new NFL player.
Okay.
He's been
in
a while.
NFL for a while.
Oh, okay.
So
I don't know. I mean, I just think a 13. I was 16. I was 17 when my son was born, and I'm just like, I couldn't even get it together at that age. Right. So I can't even imagine what her life was at 13. Luckily I got out of school and I made some good choices, and I had a lot of help. Mm-hmm. And maybe she had those things, but at 13, come on now, like.
And he was a basketball star, so you knew.
Right. Come on.
He had to be, famous or very popular in that particular area too.
Right.
So yeah.
And you knew what you were doing, and something needs to happen to you.
I agree.
I'm sorry.
I agree.
Right is right, people. So did they say what the teacher was going? The teacher was charged with. Was he charged with kidnapping, or did she just voluntarily go?
Yeah, I don't think he was. He wasn't.
Well, I guess he didn't kidnap.
It was a quote unquote consensual.
As consensual, it could be with a 12-year-old.
Yeah. So he'll get the normal, the sexual assault, the second degree rape, and
Did she die?
No.
How
did they find out that they were having a relationship?
I guess one of the neighbors must have saw that he was having
No, I mean, they had a longer term relationship. It wasn't like she was just at the house. Like, how did they find? I guess text messages probably.
Oh yeah, probably text. You mean after he was caught?
Right, after he was caught.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
The news was clear that this was a relationship. It wasn't like just this one time that had happened.
Well, you know what happens. They went and talked to the girl, and she went.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. And I loved him.
Right.
He gave me some lip gloss.
I can't stand you.
But hey, that's what they do, and he knows that.
Yeah.
He knows that. But celebrities, since we want to think about celebrities.
Oh, here we go.
Stephen A. Smith.
What does Stephen A. Smith do?
All right. So Stephen A. Smith, apparently the BET Awards happened. I don't watch award shows. Let me explain. I've been cut those off because to me it was a lot of buffoonery going on with the awards. So apparently they recognized O.J. Simpson for his accomplishments and stuff like that. It was those who passed away.
Oh, okay.
Right. So and I'm thinking, okay, you can't take away what he did.
Right.
Whatever. And so Stephen A. gets on his platform and talks about how they are going to look at us, how we should have done, and a whole bunch of different things. And it was just crazy. And then
Was it us?
the black community.
people. Yeah.
Right. So, but he did this and he did this and we should have did this and da. So Faison Love, Faison Love, the comedian from Friday and a whole bunch of so, he let him have it.
Did he?
Oh, he's like, where they get you niggas from?
Ooh.
He was like, where do they I should pull it up.
Wow.
But yeah, he got onto him. He's like, well, he was innocent by a jury of his peers.
Yes.
In a court of law.
Yes.
So he's like, where do they get you niggas from?
Oh wow.
And I looked at the comments under his post or whatever, and everybody was on board. Now I didn't say anything, I didn't comment whatever, but I was like, we was thinking here, and I don't always agree with Faison Love, but I was like, that's the thing that was running through my mind. Okay, he's like, who else is supposed to celebrate him?
Yeah.
Who else?
You
can't. If you can go back and through the ages and talk about certain celebrities that were celebrated, and then dig into their past. John Wayne.
Oh.
Elvis.
Oh, well,
Janis.
yeah. Talk about a pedophile.
Right. Jerry D. Lewis.
Yeah.
What's the guy from Beretta?
Oh, Robert Blake. Yes.
So they can do all that, but here we get, and this is not the first time Stephen A. has
He's always in trouble.
Yeah.
Like, I don't pay attention, but I'm always hearing people say that he done said something.
Always
sideways.
shucking and jiving.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So he went on Fox News and was
all
talking about
stations.
certain things. I mean, you still coming off Stephen A. I know you're listening to me. You still coming off that controversy by taking your narrow beep. Wait, I beat the wrong word. So you went on Fox News and shucked and jived. You're still coming off of that, and you try to backtrack off of that by going back. Well, this is, I said it. I said this and that, whatever, and then you still follow up. And to be honest, that's not the first, second, or third time you've done it. And guess what? You about to be on the cancel list. They're going to send you a letter and revoke your black card. So
I don't know much about him, but I do hear that he's always in trouble. But he plays a character on my soap opera, so I'm just like, Stephen A. He's in the hospital.
I don't understand that guy. Like, it's like, you got to perform in front of everybody. Then you put him in front of the a certain audience. Now I got to perform for them. Like you're automatically going to get your ticket stamp and speak for the black community.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? I don't like that.
Yeah.
So whatever blowback you get from this, Stephen A. You listening? You deserve every bit of it. So
I mean, they always do like in memoriam. Is that what it's called? Like
I
when
don't
people, on shows. But you're right. David Bowie had a rape case.
Did he?
Oh yeah.
I don't remember that.
See, our memories are short, so we forget about a lot of things that people have done along the way. And they're fabulous when you talk about them in depth.
Well, even, and I'm gonna say it this way, even with the rape cases, sometimes that's a hard thing to swallow, because we've had also on the other end, you've had people who've been falsely accused, or or the laws were different, or the norms were different in certain areas. When you go back to, like, say, West Virginia or whatever, Mississippi, whatever, but still it's the same. It's you can't have one set of rules for one group of people and another set for another.
Don't you live in America?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I was just checking, because it's clearly that.
Yeah. But yeah, you trying to say something, Felonious?
Yeah. Going to the topic for today.
I got one last thing. I got one last thing.
Okay.
And, well,
Oh my God, he is up to something. I'm scared.
No. It's along the lines of double standards.
Okay.
Right. So you remember what happened with John? I know, not a football fan, but John Gruden was the Super Bowl winning coach when he went to Tampa. When he was at Tampa, then he went to the Raiders. Right.
Okay.
So he got fired from the Raiders when they found. I guess they was looking into different things and they found all these emails that he was saying. I mean, some straight up racist stuff.
Oh.
Oh yeah, he was. I mean, he was just.
Yikes.
It was no out of it. So he got fired and he's never been hired since. Right.
Okay.
So now, recently, he's on the hired list. Yeah. So apparently he's going to be the new coach. He's named the new coach for the Cleveland Browns.
They don't win anyway, and I don't even follow football, and I know that.
And you always say they don't win because they keep changing coaches every 2 or 3 years. That's why they don't win. But now they bring this guy John Gruden. I'm not saying he's not a good coach or anything, but
So is he going to be less racist now than he was?
That's my
before?
point. Yes, and then Cam Newton was mentioning stuff like that about how like other people don't get opportunities, but yet they'll give somebody else the same opportunities. Like he said, I'm not trying to say that nobody's qualified or not qualified, but can we get the same? Can we we have and he named all these coaches like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, all these different players that or sportscasters that wanted the opportunities, but yet somebody else will get it fresh with no experience, no nothing, and then obviously they forgive John Gruden.
Right.
So that's our double standard thing for today.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, there's that.
Yes.
It's definitely out there.
So I did have one on Trump, but I'll say that for another date because
Thank you.
it's relevant to whatever. It's really relevant.
Well, just say
Yeah, right.
No.
You might as well just share it.
That's a discussion. I'm gonna bring that with the other stuff because we do have one on the presidential election.
Okay.
So that was just the information was too much information on that one.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
and I want to bring a guest speaker
Okay.
in that round. And on the 22nd of July, we're going to have Senator Charles Sidnor III. He's a state senator for Maryland for the 44th district. So he's going to come in and talk about legislative updates and different things going on in the realm of the law and
Gotcha.
politics. So we're going to have him on the show. So thank you for that one. But we wanted to talk about something. I always browse social media, and
Lord.
you listen to all the conversations and stuff like that, and I was like, well, the topic was, has dating become too complicated?
Okay.
And I listened to a lot of the women, and I listened to the men, and I think we're really seriously on like two different planets.
It's always been like that.
Yeah, but it was kind of crazy. But so the dating thing, and I'm going by what I've heard from the women. They have all these, and of course we have a expert in the field that I always listen to, who talks about relationships. His name is Bill Burr.
Oh my gosh. The comedian.
Yes. Oh,
How is he in a relationship?
because-
I'm just not
because
gonna,
look, he's always on
not.
point when it comes to this. So
I'm just not gonna have this conversation.
but it's difficult. And this is 2024, and dating has become complicated. Now, we're gonna go through the years. Like we talk about the teenagers now, or even the preteens, teenagers, the 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, and then the 50 and above.
Okay.
Right. So when you were dating, right? How did you start? What was the procedure to date?
But like somebody approached you, and said, "Hey, you want to go out with me?" Or, I mean, it's been 100 years since I dated, so I'm not really sure.
So
but
when
like,
you was dating, it was more like, hark.
I wish people could see my face right now.
Hark, fine woman. What doth you do today?
I wanted
she's
to,
not
yeah,
such an
just,
ancestor.
you know, he gets on my nerves.
But it was a way of dating, right?
Yeah, or sometimes, especially if you're a preteen, it'd
Are
be
you
like,
saying she was born in the times of Romeo and Juliet?
yeah, that's what he's trying to say. That's exactly what he's trying to say. When you would like just
Shakespeare.
just starting a date, it'd be like, hey, so and so was in my class and I heard he liked you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how things would start. Or like I said, somebody just approach you and be like, hey, you know.
Did you ever get the note?
Yes.
You did?
Yes. You would get a note.
You know the
yes.
note? You know what the note
Yeah.
is? What it?
We used to. Is it, you mean like letters?
Yeah, like no, like to pass the note and say,
Right.
hey,
Oh, that person that
Hey.
give it to that person.
yeah,
Yeah.
do you like me?
Right.
Check yes or no.
Right. Check the box.
Don't they still do that?
I
No,
don't
they don't
know
have
what they
to.
do. They-
All they
yeah.
get on the phone,
Right.
True.
Right.
Or
social media.
social media.
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah, so that was, you know, they would approach you. You would decide whether or not you wanted to go out with them. You went out with them, and that was that.
And what was the expectation?
There was no expectation. And there was
have
no.
a good time.
Yeah, you just
Yeah, have a
having
good time,
fun.
right?
You just having a good time.
Most of the times you don't even do anything.
Right. Right.
Just held hands and just.
Be silly.
I don't think you don't even see yourself like for boyfriend and girlfriend for school. You don't even see yourself like outside school. A lot of times,
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Just like
yeah.
the next day you're back in school. And
Right,
that's it.
right,
And that's not
right.
usually
That's true.
That's how it works.
That is
So
true.
we had that, and then if you was lucky enough, you would see him, you know, during the off school time, like at
Yeah.
the summer camp
Yeah,
or
yeah.
you know at the local and what.
But you're right. I don't think we really did see each other outside of school.
Yeah, a lot
Right.
of times. Yeah,
Yeah.
usually it's like just
and
in
then,
school.
and if you got the phone, you know, that's when
Oh,
you
that
had the
was
phone.
big when you
know.
had. Yeah, they had the phone number. That was big.
Yeah, you talking to somebody, and you know, next thing you know, mom or dad gets on
Yes.
the phone.
Get off that
That's
phone.
it.
Y'all been on that phone all day. Like, oh, she get on my nerves.
Like, oh, get on the phone. Do you like her or something? So you get embarrassed or whatever. But it was simpler, right?
Yes.
And like I said, there was no you had expectations that you were going to act a certain way. You was going to be a gentleman, or you was going to act like a lady. Now, so now is one kids. Now we talking about the kids. Right? They don't date.
Right.
But they go from
They have hookups.
hookups,
Okay.
yes, and they get on the Snapchat or the Instagram, and they post videos, and then people comment on videos, and then they go on. When they do get together, they sit next to each other and they text each other back and forth.
I don't think it's that bad.
Oh yeah, it is. It is.
And I think they go as a group.
Yeah, well,
Like
yeah, too, yeah.
I don't think
You only text each other when you're about to gossip about somebody. Or like,
No, they still text. I've seen the kids. They do it. They'll they could be like a half a block away. Hey, what you doing? None. I'm about to come down there.
Right.
All right.
well, for us as adults, we feel like it's complicated, but for them, they feel like
Right,
that's the
this is
norm.
what they do.
Exactly, they
This
feel
is-
like that's
yeah.
the norm for
Yeah.
them.
Well, compared the old days to this days, like, all right, so what if you messed up and you don't have a phone because your mom took your phone?
Exactly.
Oh,
So now-
yeah,
now,
you,
all right,
well,
so
you
now-
saw him at
Well,
school
you just
the next
gonna
day.
well, no, or you're gonna pray. You don't. The guy doesn't text or call you while your mom has your phone because you're gonna be dead.
Oh, that
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so now, all right, let's fast forward to let's get out of the teens now as grown adults. Well, so you really didn't have the opportunity to
I
date,
didn't date
as an
date.
adult.
Yeah, I didn't
you,
date
you
date.
jumped the broom real early.
I did.
So what about you, Felonious? What was your dating like?
Experience.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, dating, I did it as while I was in like what do you call secondary school, middle school.
Mm-hmm.
I had one boyfriend till I finished middle school, until I finished high school as well. He was the same guy.
Okay.
Oh wow.
But then I never dated any guy in my school. He lived in my estate.
He was what?
He lived in
He
my
lived in
estate,
it.
in my house.
Oh,
in
okay.
my estate.
Yeah.
So, and we only saw each other like out, like just once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
The relationship was kind of complicated because we used to we both had ego. So anybody so it was a kind of complicated relationship.
Well, you was 18 in middle school?
You
No.
know what?
Because I said adults.
Oh, but I'm saying how I started.
You
I'm
said-
telling you
Nope,
how
I said- about her dating
I said
experience.
I said as adults. So we're gonna move from the teenage years and
But
get into adults.
I'm giving you
right,
And
you
then
give
you
us-
how I
said,
started.
and
so
then
Alright.
you
whatever.
said, "Tell
Alright.
me about your dating experience."
Alright.
And
My-
then
my-
that's
my
how
bad.
I started, whatever. And then that's how it started for me. That's my first boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
We never did anything anything. We just used to hang out, see each other, blah blah blah, and that's it.
Still mangoes.
And then my mom, like, it kind of dating that your mother would never know about, does not know about.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
And then I went into the university, and then let me see. Well, I also jumped the broom quite early, but then the dating was like, oh yeah, somebody saw you, and hey, I had this guy that wrote me a rhyme to, we used to call it toast. I don't know if you guys say toast. He was
Toast?
toasting. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's
say
a different type of toasting.
Yeah, we say toasting back then where I'm from. Like, oh, he's toasting her, like he's trying to ask her out. We say toasting.
Okay.
We use the word toasting. So the guy will be like, I wanna be a page in the book. You don't call it really rhymes, that kind of cheeky rhymes. So I had like a lot of experience of guys trying to use different means to just ask you out. They just see you on the road or see you on the street without just, oh, I like this girl, and the next thing they're trying to approach you.
Right.
It's not like you guys ever had any conversation or whatsoever. Just see you. And I've had a guy that liked me and wrote me a letter. And that got into my mother's hands.
That's
Oh no!
See, he did it wrong. This is what you're supposed to do, right? You write the letter, you wrap it around a brick, and with rubber
it was
band,
worse because
you throw it through a window
this,
you do not.
and run.
this was different because he liked me. He liked me. I wasn't his girlfriend, but he liked me. And then we just had.
Wait a minute. So
fun.
you wasn't worthy of a rock through the window?
We could sleep. We didn't have houses like that. But
Don't
anyways,
talk to him.
the guy he liked me, and then he was going back to boarding school. So he wrote me all the way from boarding school. My mom was on leave at work, at home vacation, and then the postman handed her the letter.
Oh.
And she was like, "Oh, my daughter. Oh, she always wins awards and all of that. Maybe it's one of those awards."
She opened it up.
Yeah. And then I got home, and when I'm in trouble, I know my mom's countenance. I see her how she's different with me, and I'm like, "Oh, what's going on?" I try to find out, and she's like, "Oh, you have one letter." I'm like, "Letter?" Yeah. I'm like, "It's on my bed." And I just read the first part. I couldn't even.
What did you wait? When she said you had a letter?
I had stomach ache. I had to go to the bathroom.
So what were you expecting? Like when you said letter?
Letter. I'm like, award. I'm like, did I letter? And I'm like, but then so I snuck into a room, and then I saw the name. I'm like, who? And then I started saying something like, in the basket of love, in the something of, those kind of stupid cheesy things that in the basket of love, ditto, all those kind of things. Like, there were things we used like growing up, like ditto for day. Then you say in the basket of love, in using my pen or using something. It was just like a rhyme, kind of rhyme in the basket of like how you're feeling, expressing. I just saw that part, and I'm like, oh my god, it's over. I'm dead. There's nothing. And then he just said, oh, I miss your eyes. I miss your sexy face. Oh my god. I'm like, my mother is going to kill me.
Ooh.
How old were you?
I was probably about 15, 16.
Okay.
So he went back to boarding school,
Yeah.
school for the blind. I'm just asking,
Boarding school, is that what you call boarding school over here?
Well, no, you get the
No,
boarding school. There's a
he
school
is
for the
being
blind.
smart.
There's a boarding school for
No.
that.
No, a boarding
Okay.
school is.
You know what she's talking about. You know exactly what she's talking about.
So yeah, so I went through that. Another one was I had another boyfriend one time, and my
Can we get to
I'm
the
giving all my
adult
boyfriends.
years? Can we get to the adult years?
an adult year because that was that no, that was still like my high school.
We left the kids behind. We're talking about
Whatever.
topics of
I'm
adults.
still telling you all the troubles I got in as a lady. So one time I got
wait,
the
hold
phone
on,
from my
real
dad.
quick. The reason why I said get to the
I'm
adults
gonna tell
because
you, I'm telling you.
back then all they had to do was give you a piece of candy and y'all was dating. So
Whatever. No, this is different. This
Candy
one
bar?
time-
You get on my nerves.
So I've been through like different. I'm just saying like from letter writing to when the phone came, and then you get text messages except when your mother sees your phone,
Right.
your phone, and then the message comes in, blah blah blah, and then you're in trouble and all of that. And then in university I dated, let's see, one person, maybe one
at the end,
yeah.
you said the end of your university,
No, the beginning.
the beginning. Okay.
So it was, I didn't, I won't say date, but yeah, I had like a kind of fling in my school.
But you
He used
never
to take me out.
you never lived by yourself.
But I lived in a hostel.
Okay.
But I used to go home I stayed in school Monday to Friday.
Right.
And I used to go home on the weekends, Friday, Sunday, come back on Monday.
Oh, okay.
So I never really, not like really stayed by myself.
Yeah.
I was in school anyways, but school, I never tried anything because I was scared of my mom. So it was like, no, school dating was like, oh, you see, of course you see a girl, you like her, you guys start talking, and
You
that's it. And then you take her out on a date, like, oh, let's go eat.
Right.
Let
Go
me
to the
eat.
movies,
Let's go to the
something,
movies.
yeah.
Let's
So you
do
was in an
something
all-girls
nice.
school?
No, university is not all girls school.
Okay. No, they do have all girls.
I didn't even talk about all
Yeah.
girls school. University, I didn't say all girls school.
Oh, okay, I was wondering because you said you see a girl, you take her out. You
Like
talking about
a
your
guy.
experience.
She was
See a
talking
girl.
about. You
Oh,
know what
okay.
she's
All right,
talking
look,
about.
I'm done talking.
Hey, listen,
Yeah.
listen.
Stop
The
talking to
people,
him.
the people need to know.
I'm done. It's okay.
I mean, the people need to know.
You can go ahead.
Yeah,
So
go with
you
your
didn't-
next question.
You didn't.
I'm not answering it.
No,
Give
you,
it-
no. You didn't. You. We were talking about like as an adult. You went from your mom's house to your husband's house.
Yes. I
So you really didn't. Did you date your
husband? Yes, I did.
at the time? Okay, so when he was you still in your mom's house.
Yes.
Okay, so during that time, did you have like formal dating, or you kept it a
Yeah,
secret?
we went out. Well, at that stage in my life, she just knew somebody used to come over, like my friend. I'll say my friend, and all of that. It was my friend.
And you were how old?
I was 20. No. Yeah, 20.
20. Okay. So it was still
So y'all
kind of
dated for a couple of years and then got married.
Like 2 years.
Okay.
okay. Ooh, that's quick.
I know. When you find the one.
There you go.
Hey, it works.
Oh, that's right. There
Listen.
you go.
we all find the one, or we wouldn't get married. We're here with the almost
That's the one.
50-60% divorce rate.
I can't with you.
Hey, that's the fact. So, and the reason why I said,
So how did you date? Nuh-uh. Don't think you're going to get off the hook. Don't think you're going to skate right by that.
you know, honestly, my dating experience was mostly accidental.
How does that happen?
So, and I'm talking about as an adult. I'm not talking
Right,
about teenage,
right.
but so as an adult, like I either ran into somebody and we kind of like just started hanging out and then you know whatever. But let me see, 1, 2. I actually the longest ones were from hookups.
Oh, okay.
It was my friends talking to their friends.
Gotcha.
And said, hey,
Right.
I got this guy. He's a nice guy. They always say that
Right.
he's a nice guy. And you know, so but all right, so going back to because I left high school early. I went
Okay.
into the armed forces. So when we used to get together, you know, all the guys had their wives. I was young. People got married young, whatever. But
Right.
it's like, well, we had little get-togethers, and then if I met their wives or their girlfriends, and they would always want one of their friends
Because
to
you
hook-
couldn't approach a girl directly.
well, you know, and I'm gonna say that like that's my thing. I really never really did that.
Really?
Back then, you know, it was like we just happened to be in the same place, and it was a coincidence that you know we were sitting in the same bus and the same next to each other on the seat, and even then that
And
didn't
you
work.
talk to anybody,
Right.
so.
But it was
yeah.
more or less my earlier years was always a hookup.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
so that was it.
Which means it wasn't complicated. It
Right.
wasn't this whole
Right.
to
It's like,
do.
he's a nice guy. You a nice girl.
Why don't y'all just hang out a little
Yes,
bit?
Who's a
and
nice
and
guy?
and hang out with us.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and then you did your own thing. But
Who's a
later,
nice guy?
moi.
Yeah, right.
And then later on, it was more or less random meetings. Like,
Okay.
all right, so it was there's one girl. I happened to be in the mall, and I was in the subway line trying to eat fresh, right?
Trying to get fresh.
So I saw her and her aunt, and I know who they were, but I said something to them in the line, and she kind of like scowled at me, whatever. And I'm thinking, okay, all right, you ain't gonna scowl at me. Oh, I know what I asked her. I asked her, are you buying me, you know, Subway? And she's like, she gave me that look, like, no.
Like, I don't know you. Why you talking to me?
Yeah, and then she didn't like my particular profession.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, all right. So then I you know, when they got their thing, I walked past them and I was like, you gonna give me a bite of that?
Oh, Lord.
And then that's how we connected. It
Okay.
was like stuff like that. Or And again, even as an adult, my first wife, well, my first,
Your first wife?
He has
my
a second wife.
well,
okay.
Apparently.
no. I meant like my first wife, meaning like we're divorced now.
Okay.
So she
Okay.
she
Or my ex-wife would have been better.
but I wanted to say first wife because
You intend on having more.
no. Just I want to say it was as a wife.
Okay.
I want to say my ex. Why I say my ex-wife?
Okay. Let's say whatever you like. Go on
Trying
with
to
the
boss,
story.
trying to be the boss of me.
Ain't nobody trying
All right,
to
so
be
my
boss.
ex-wife. So when I met my ex-wife, it was a hookup.
Okay.
Right? A friend of mine called. I met her.
Do you know, hook up in my head sounds like a one night stand.
All right, so
Is that what it is?
no. Hookup is basically when
Somebody match you with somebody
match you.
else.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
But
basically,
technically now, a
No,
hookup
that's
is
what I'm
a-
saying,
right.
is
like,
different
one night
now.
stand,
A hookup is
understand.
different now.
so it was basically my friend met the girl while he was working, and she was talking about guys, whatever. He was like, "Oh, I'm a hook you up, with my friend." You know,
Right.
call him up, and she called. I was home, sitting, laying on the couch, like I remember, like it was yesterday. And then we started talking, and then we were together ever since.
Okay.
You know, until obviously, but that's how that happened. So, but anytime after that, for me, it was more or less, it was having a familiarity.
That's how you
I
get
got
the
it.
girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like because I
somebody
don't.
you work with, somebody you see every day.
I don't
that kind of thing.
actually. I
Remind
don't
me how I
actually go.
met you again.
Well, you and I met. You was I think it was human
Just say
trafficking.
rubbish. I know.
No,
It was human trafficking. You was working. You was working in a restaurant,
That is not funny. Stop it.
and you had chains around your legs.
Oh, you taking
So,
it too far.
I'm just saying that's how
Too far.
she was fresh off the
Market.
the boat
Too far.
like you. So,
Too far.
but yeah, it was more or less like a familiarity with people. Like I just happen. I don't intentionally go after anybody.
Okay.
But it was like kind of we accidentally run into each other.
Okay.
And then you go from there. But so I never had the complications of dating
Right.
until you actually started dating. The
Right.
getting the people weren't the difficult part. Because when you start dating, and then they have these expectations, and you have your expectations, and then they don't match.
When they don't match, it's over.
Right.
Yeah.
So in today's thing, the big question is, you'll see this everywhere from guys. What does she bring to the table?
Right.
So then there's two, lines of thought. Some people say, well, why does she have to bring anything to the table? And then some people say, well, yeah, she should bring something to the table. And then the other, you're the man. You're supposed to do X, Y, and Z. So that's the complications of today's dating.
I agree.
And then there's
But then growing up, even our parents, for me, I don't know about here, but then it's mostly the men that bring stuff to the table. It's just these days they make it's the woke age. They keep because of maybe trying to be equal with men. But usually a man is the head of the family.
right. If you have
That's
that
how it
traditional type of mindset. So here's the thing. That's again, and they'll say the man is the head of the household. But then a lot of women look at it like, well, if I'm working and you're working, you're not the head of the household. We're equal, right? And that's where the complication comes in, because I personally believe that is never, ever going to be equal. Equal never works. Equal doesn't.
Equal only works when it favors me.
So, but no, but for sure, is never no
I agree.
equality in
I
it. So
yeah.
the thing is, if you're dating and the guy says, what do you bring to the table? His thing is like, what are you going to do for me? It's not all about what I'm gonna do for you. You gotta be my piece. You gotta be able to do something for me that I can't do myself or don't want to do myself. And then the same thing with women, which hasn't changed. When they look at the guy, it was like, well, what are you going to do for me? Are you going to provide me with a home, children, security, food, whatever? Mm-hmm. But now, since women are working and they're getting their own, you got the people saying that, well, I don't need a man. I just want a man. So where does that leave it? Complicated, right? And I could tell you, men and women are different. Like men have to have a feeling of being needed. So if you got a woman that comes in and says, I don't need a man, I got this for myself.
Right. Well, what do you need me for?
Exactly.
Right. So I'm the elder here. So I'm going to go from there. And in my history, women had to fight for the things that they have right now, right?
Okay.
So we had
such
like we couldn't have a credit card without your husband signing and saying it's okay.
Right.
Women couldn't rent their own apartments, that kind of thing.
Right.
So now that we can have these things, I feel like it's been a regression of women saying, he has to have this, he has to have this, he has to have this, he has to have this. And I'm just like, well, what do you have?
Right.
And I gotta say that I'm the outside on this.
Okay.
And I'm just old, and this is how we.
So that would be the guy saying, "What do you bring to the table?"
Exactly.
Right.
And I feel like he has a valid question. I feel like that's a valid question. Especially if you're playing in a partnership.
Right.
If it's just a hookup, who cares who got what table? Nobody cares. But if you're playing in a partnership, and like you said, it's not going to be equal. Somebody's going to bring 40 sometimes. Somebody's going to bring 60 sometimes.
Right.
It's never going to be equal.
Correct.
But I hear and I see on social media these women talking about, this man has to make this amount of money. He has to have this kind of car. He has to have this kind of house, or I'm not going to date him.
Right.
But in the same sentence, you got 5 kids and 3 baby daddies, and you're not working anywhere. Or okay, you're working at McDonald's or Walgreens. Right. Where are you going that you're going to meet a man that has those things?
Right.
And is he going to want you?
Bingo.
With all of the baggage that you bring.
I agree.
So, and there are women out there who legitimately have all of these things, but it has gotten so complicated. Or other women has made it so hard that the women who are out here with all of these things looking for a guy who has the same things that she has, she can't find him because he's running away from all of the crazy over here. And it's just like, I ain't dating nobody.
Right.
Like, it's just gotten too crazy. I'm not dating anybody. So, and I'm not saying that, all the women who say you have to have these things have that scenario, but I was in a store one time and the young girls behind me, I think they were in their 20s, girl, he got to have a pension and a paycheck. And I'm just like, you need your own pension and your own damn paycheck. Women have worked too hard to get these things. Yeah. We have worked too hard to get these things.
So you got married
at 25.
25. So how long did you date your?
We were together a long time. We were together like 4 years, 5 years.
So 4 years.
Like that, yeah.
So 4 years, 5. Then you got married after 5 years,
right.
And you got married after 2. Okay. So now here's a question. This is another thing that will complicate relationships now, because when we did our dating thing, the dating apps, and I was looking at through whatever you see, a lot of people. Well, these are women, because obviously I wasn't looking at the guys. So a lot of them had time frames or time limits. So they.
What do you mean? I want to be married by this.
Yes. So they would have, and I asked one of the ladies too at the at a farmer's market, or whatever. I was like, well, how long did you date your husband before you got married, right? And everybody has their own time, whatever. And some of them reply, well, after such and such years, then you're wasting my time, right? So now the question to you guys, both you ladies, is there a limit, not just for you, but just a limit where you think you should have all your ducks in a row before you get married?
Well, my ducks still ain't in a row, so I can't say if waiting to have your ducks in a row is the right time. But I really do understand, like, because for 5 years that was a long time, and I honestly started saying, okay, so what are we doing?
Right.
Like, we were living together.
Weren't you young?
Yeah, I moved out at like 18 or something like that. 18, yeah. But also I never lived. I left home. I had a roommate.
Okay.
From a roommate, I had a husband, so I never really lived by myself. But after 5 years, I think that's a good amount of time to be like. But you
for
also, In general.
In general, okay.
But
okay.
you also have to have that conversation at some point.
Right.
Like if, you're going to start dating, are we going to be serious? Is this a long-term thing? Is that what you're thinking? Because if you don't start having that conversation, you'll look up and it's,
25 years.
Right. It's 7-8 years later and you're like, well, have I wasted my time? Which I don't ever believe that you waste your time.
You know what? And that's what I say. I said it's never a waste of time because you learn and you grow, become
Right.
different people, and it's going to be different from when you come into the relationship anyway, because that's what forms you. So for you, what do you think, Felonious, is the limit?
I don't know, because I did not even plan to get married.
You didn't plan it.
I just found myself in the marriage.
So when you started dating, you didn't have
I didn't know.
You didn't know. So
I was still young, so I didn't think
Right.
about it. So
Right.
maybe if I'd waited till I was older, I probably would feel like, oh, okay, oh my God, I'm getting old.
So what prompted
my
you to get
maternal
married?
clock is ticking. I got pregnant.
Oh, you got.
Well, I had my
You had a
second
shotgun?
son. Yeah.
Second wedding.
Yeah, I had my second son, and I was like, okay, so what are we doing now?
Right.
We got these kids, and we just,
Right.
I wasn't planning. Yeah, I didn't. But people, I have a friend right now that is like, she's 33, and she's like, oh my God, with the economy right now, I cannot afford. Like, in case her husband messes up or whatever, she cannot afford to
be on her own.
Yeah, take care of her child. So
Yeah.
she's not looking to get married right now,
Right.
and all of
Okay.
that. Despite the fact that she's getting older, I have a lot of older friends that, because ideally in Nigeria, I think like when you're like from 25, your parents start telling you, oh hey,
It's time.
yeah, what are you doing? What are you
Yeah.
doing? Do we need to
Yeah.
pray? Do we need to do something? So like from 25, 26,
Right.
27. 28, they're
Yeah.
like, is everything okay? So it's not about the amount of years. I don't think it's about the amount of years you spend with somebody.
Right.
I think it's the age of the woman, mostly for us.
Oh, for you, okay,
Yes,
okay.
it's usually like the age of the lady. When you
Okay.
date me at 27, you know that I'm ripe for marriage. I'm ready to get
So
married.
so if you was, let's say you was with a guy or you was 20, let's say 18, now you're 23, that's 5 years, right? They get the math right.
Right.
So that's 5 years. That's weighs
Still no,
less.
it still doesn't mean we should get married.
Right. So at 28, if you was with the guy for 2 years,
yeah.
that's more of a reason.
Yes.
You're okay.
Right.
All
Yes,
right. I
'cause
see.
I'm older.
maturing.
So,
Yes.
so it's not so much of a time frame for
yes,
you.
it's about the age.
The age. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
And I've had people where they say, because your older sister, like in Nigeria,
Right. I've heard that.
yeah, your older sister is not married yet. Even if your younger sister has like a boyfriend, like a serious relationship, they'll say no until your
Older sister gets
gets married first.
Oh, wow.
It's happened to some people.
Wow.
It has happened to some people where the younger sister is scared to get married, even though she has a boyfriend, she has
Right.
everything set for her, ready to go. But because sometimes the parents be like, "Hey, no, until your
Older
sister is
sister get
older,
married.
she needs
Okay.
to get married first."
Gotcha.
All right. Okay. So
So
that's a cultural
which-
thing. That's
Yeah.
Which for
Been-
me, I don't think everybody's different. So I don't
Right.
think your older sister might be doomed to not get married. for life.
So you stuck not getting
Yeah,
married. 'cause she
exactly.
can't
And
get
then
married.
what if you end up losing that guy, which is
Right.
good for you because you're
Right.
waiting for somebody else. So
Yeah.
usually it's an age thing for us
Yeah.
in Africa than the amount of time you spend together.
Gotcha.
okay.
Yes.
So I did notice that like a lot of them would have the older ages will have like 1 to 2 years. It's like you should date 3 months. You meet the parents or family, whatever, and then by that end of that year, you should be married.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but going to what she said is more or less, they think dating is a waste of time.
Oh,
You know,
okay. I see what
you
you're
get to
saying.
know the family. You
Right.
find out if that person has the discipline or those the no, I don't say culture, but the
It's not even about that. These days we are woke. Everybody's woke. It's
Right.
a little less tradition in everything. But like you know that person. You're sure. Okay, they do the introduction, the family, where you guys from, where are we from, blah blah blah. They know the kind of family you're from. Okay, that's okay. You can marry that person.
Right.
so because that comes with the responsibility. If you're from a so-called good family,
So if I was from like maybe I know my father would. I'm Yoruba. I know my daddy would definitely oppose if I brought like an Igbo man.
Okay.
He would not even let me get married to
Wow.
You know, like a lot of people like you to marry within your culture.
Okay.
Like some people don't mind, they don't care. But I know my
Right.
father would
Right.
definitely not agree. I wouldn't like. He wouldn't want me to do that. So he'll probably if my husband was that person was from Igbo, he'll definitely probably not let me.
Wow.
So
And
that
you
that
have
works.
to have his permission to marry.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like my mom was the same way. I couldn't get married to anybody if he was from outside Stanley Holmes Village, SHV.
You have to remember too, women have a biological
Clock.
clicking
Yeah.
time,
Yes.
you know.
So yeah.
And at some point it's just like, hey, my eggs are drying up. Like,
Right.
what are we going to do if we plan to have children? It has to be done within a certain time frame. So
Okay, so you're going to say that there shouldn't be. Well, no, you said there should be a 5-year limit.
Well, I can't say 5 years. I feel like 5 years is a long
Most-
time.
yeah.
But,
Okay, so-
but it should be some kind of limit.
Okay.
Like, you should know where you're going.
give us a year.
A year?
Yeah, like a
Yeah, probably 5
years. Okay, and you're saying it doesn't matter how long as you
it
have
depends
the
on
age.
the woman's age.
So if you're 35
That's
right
so
now,
old. That's fucking old.
right? So, but if you're 35 and you meet somebody and you say, okay, well, I'm 35. We need to get married within a year.
Well, I don't. Well, I also don't want to marry because I want to get married. I don't want to get married because I'm I wouldn't say desperate because I'm old,
right.
But
and
you-
I settle for less. You
Right.
know what I'm
No,
saying?
and even say, let's say you didn't settle for less. Say the guy was okay. Everything was good so far, but you only knew him for a year, and you're 35, right?
At 35, I feel like I'm old. I should be able to tell, like, you know, like.
So you would
No.
get
beating
so,
around the bush.
so
Let's
a
just
year
go
is
straight to-
plenty.
Yeah, let's go straight to the point. If you want to get married, let's
Right.
get married.
Okay,
let's
but
go.
the guys think differently, because I
But
think
if I'm 35, yeah, I'll be going for a guy that's like 38, 39, 40. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So who wouldn't be a child?
But-
He'll know what he wants.
no.
already.
But guys, the thought process for guys is different because one, for a guy, they're looking at marriage as if like, well, I really need to be sure because if it goes bad, I'm going to get the
Short end of the stick.
yes. So it's like, you know, in our heads, it's like, well, you know, we date, then you have, you know, everything's
I
fine.
guess that's this part of the world.
Well, well, yeah, but it's all right. So it's a little different because like people look at marriage differently. Let's say in Southeast Asia, where you grew up, but because they know once you get married, you have a responsibility or duty to do certain things. So that's the glue. Whereas now you have more of a more freer society,
Right.
where you don't know. Again, you got to challenge somebody. Do you think you're going to be the head of the household? Do am I expected to do X, Y, and Z? So those are the complications that we have today. It's like, you know, what do you want? Are you going to please me? Where before you had the duty. The man had a duty to do certain things. The woman had a duty to do certain things, and that was it. So you can get married and have that.
You know what your role is.
Yes.
That's what you're saying. You
Like-
know what your role is.
Like, what was it? Pakistan, I think it was. Pakistan had a very low divorce rate.
Because they'd probably kill her if she tried to get away.
But you figure even when we did the stat that had the arranged marriage, it was like less than 1% divorce. So everybody knew what you had to even agree to a arranged marriage.
So you're saying that it should be more of a traditional thing than all this willy-nilly what we have right now.
I think there should be a set of rules that govern this, but in that same sense, you have to be raised within those things. Like you can't
Right.
say this is the rules, and I came from a family that didn't raise me to be a man, or you didn't. You came from a family that didn't raise you to be the woman that I would be compatible with.
Right.
So that's the complication now. It's like, women are doing their own thing. A lot of them think that they don't need a man. They think that they don't need children.
Right.
You
well,
know?
some women don't want to have children.
Well, they do. I'm saying that's
their choice.
And then
But you can't hook up with a man who wants children.
right. And then you got the other things that complicated, like you said, you have to make 6 figures.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
missing out on a good dude
Right.
that's making $60,000
Right.
because you want somebody who makes $120,000 that's
Right.
beating your tail.
How about Zodiac too?
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm gonna tell you this: if I had known, and they say it's for entertainment purposes only, but if I had known that stuff is real, I don't care what anybody. That stuff is real, but it tells you. I don't think necessarily like the whole thing with the compatibility part, but it tells you what type of person you have, and you can work within that, right? Okay. So if you have somebody who's going to be, let's say, what was your thing that you didn't like? If something that's not compatible with you.
Ego driven.
Okay.
I don't like an ego driven.
Okay.
Person.
Now let's say Pisces was an ego driven.
Right. You had to use Pisces.
Yes, I use Pisces.
Oh no, he did not. No, he did not.
So you would know automatically and say, okay, well, I know I can't handle
I can't do that, right?
But I can take the rest of the stuff, and you can go about your business,
right?
Right. So I think that has and I don't know why it works that way, but it does.
But do you feel like one experience in one person should cover the whole zodiac?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Ask Carol Watkins.
I also think that
for
the zodiac sign, I feel like it's a lot of the signs are correct, blah blah blah, but then upbringing as well has some plays a part or a role.
But don't you think like even that whole personality, like so I can be brought up in a certain household or I've seen certain things, but my personality will still be what I am. And it'll manifest itself in different ways, according to how I was brought up, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I can say, okay, how they say I'm an Aquarius. So an Aquarius is compatible with Geminis, Libras, Sagittarius. What's the other one? I think Aries was one on the like the distant ones, whatever. Okay. But so the thing is, like, I just by the people I know, I was like, okay, there's some cool people. But do you eliminate everybody else? And don't take
they're not in this zodiac sign.
You don't roll the dice. But there's like Scorpios. Scorpios are supposed to be very loving people. So I can appreciate that.
I agree with that.
So in Pisces also, but you just have to know what part that you don't want. It's like going to the buffet. You just take those out.
So like they say Pisces are like emotional people.
Yes.
Yeah, we're emotional. But so that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying about how your experience over the years,
right,
would mold you. Like me, I don't feel like I'm so emotional. What? I don't feel like, because every time they just make you feel like Pisces cry about everywhere, and I'm gonna slap you.
What is wrong with you?
I'm not saying anything.
They just make you feel like they cry about like for everything. You know what I'm saying? But I don't feel like I'm like that. I feel like for me to be so emotional about stuff, it has to really get at me.
You have to really care about it.
You understand what I'm saying? It's not something like they just make you feel like, oh, they're so emotional about everything, blah, 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 blah. Like making you feel like they cry, like they're like cry babies at everything. Like it's not so. For me, maybe when I was younger, maybe, but not anymore.
Okay, so again, that makes a difference too. So let's say you are a true Pisces in they describe it, right? So you're a true Pisces, but you had the experiences to kind of like to temper some of those things.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So you can change it, like experiences, like you understand what can make less or more of what you are. You get what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. So sometimes they can say, hey, Aquarius, they're so stubborn, they're so this.
That's not true.
Oh,
that's true. That is true. And then over time, you be like, okay, this is my trait. Okay, yeah, but then I'm willing to see things from other people's perspective.
Right.
I'm willing to see things. You get what I'm saying? Trying to change that narrative.
I think that's
what
just
you are.
maturing as an adult.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of times you see, this is how you're supposed to be. This is 100% how you're supposed to be. A lot of things you might have passed through or done, but you're no longer that way, or you've learned to channel those energies into something. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's not like 100% accurate like that.
Okay.
I'm saying,
so we're gonna finish this topic. We're gonna have a part 2 of this.
Yeah,
and
we're gonna have to have a part 2.
Yeah, we're gonna have some. We're gonna do some street interviews, and we're gonna have some guests to tell about their own personal experiences when it comes in, and we're talking about the adult parts now, because that's where most of the complications come in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So because you're talking about marriage, children,
expectations
and stuff like that, and so just to let you know, we have our event was postponed from whatever date that was. I don't even remember.
June the 29th.
June 29th to
September.
October. I think it was October 5th, but we'll update it because we're still, holding it down. So it'll be in October for sure. But I will tell you today, you can go to our website at www.hottopicspodcast.com. And that's, I always say, Topix, Topix. And there's some new features on there. So you can go there, look at our events. And if you want to join in any of the podcasts, you go click on the events and then RSVP. You'll get your email and you'll click on it. You could join by, Zoom. So we have that. And we're going to also, we have a gallery since we start taking pictures. So, and as you know, we're doing rewards or contests or promos. So current promo we have now, if you guys go down to the farmers market, the Security Square Farmers Market, you will get a free whatever. Just it depends on who's there.
I can't wait to get a free whatever.
Yeah. So what I did, I offered them a free shaved ice.
Oh,
all they had to do was mention this is where you got it. So
got it.
So I'm gonna tell you right now. If you go down there Sunday from 12 to 4 at Security Mall, you go to the farmers market, and if you mention that we offered this free shaved ice, the first 5 will get a free shaved ice.
Look at you giving out things.
Yes, it was pretty good too. I was surprised. It was. I mean, it was really good. So the first 5 people who mentioned they heard this on this podcast, you can go down there and look for our booth. You'll see the Hot Topics tent podcast and say, hey, I heard you guys were giving away, free shaved ice. So the first 5 that comes there is on us. So we have that. Hey. Yes. And then for the month of July, look on there. You can see promos. If you go onto the website, you can see the promos, and it's going to have our monthly winners up there. So we're going to, we want the pictures, and we'll tell you what you won and all that other type stuff. But you can go there and see what we have going on. So the next one for the month is going to be comedy show tickets. So the first, did we do a keyword? Was it felonious? What was our first word?
Yeah,
felonious.
It was felonious.
It was felonious.
Okay.
So the first one, and I'm going to tell you the first one was felonious. And then today's word is going to be
happy.
Happy?
Oh, I like that.
Happy?
Yeah.
Happy.
Okay. Okay, today's for this podcast is going to be happy. So at the end of the month, if you get all the words, you'll send it out. And this is for subscribers only. So you guys subscribe, because we're going to send it out to subscribers, and the first one that emails the words, you'll win the comedy show tickets.
So right now it's felonious and happy. You have to have both of those.
Yes. And so when we future podcasts, we're not going to tell them what the other ones were. So that was with us. Okay. So yeah. So if you guys, again, check out the website, and then when we post part 2, if you want to join in the discussion, just go ahead and click RSVP, and you'll get your email, and we would love to have you there. So anything else we have?
Yes. Like, subscribe, listen.
Yes, listen, and also share. And I know I've been approached by a few people that said that they were interested in podcasts. I said, well, come on, you talk about whatever, and then get your feet wet. And again, also the 22nd, we're going to have Senator Sidnor is going to talk about some important stuff and a lot of political stuff that's going on, not just in the state of Maryland, but across the country. So we definitely want to talk about that and get you guys up to date on what's going on that level.
What's going on?
So, and
thank you for joining us, Ta.
Okay. Oh, you didn't give them the emails and all that?
You know what?
Yes. Oh, let me throw this out before we have. If you want to make a call or leave a message, you can find us on WhatsApp at 443-860-2716. That's the same thing with just call if you want to send a text message, and you can also email us at hottopicspodcast@gmail.com. And as always, we're available on the multiple platforms. I think it's 10 of them.
Okay.
10 of them.
Where you get your podcast?
Yes, look for Hot Topics Podcast, and we'll see you out in the community. Now you can see it.
Ta.